In this video, we're going to have a look at the filters. So the filters, as we know, are located here. We have two filters, filter 1 and filter 2. Okay, so first of all, as I mentioned earlier, we can actually route the two oscillators in different ways to filter 1 and filter 2. So let's say we'll just work with oscillator 1 to start with. We could choose to have 50-50 between the two. So now they're equally, or oscillator 1 is equally passing between the two filters. Or we could go 100% filter 1 or 100% filter 2. And this also ties in with the routing option that we have here. And these quick routing options can allow us to configure the oscillators, the filters, and the amp in different ways. So for example, for this first option here, we have oscillator 1 passing through filter 1, going to amp 1, oscillator 2 to filter 2, to amp 2, like so. So we can choose that. Let's just switch the second oscillator on. So you can see now we've got that configured. And let's say we had high pass filter 2, and let's do a low pass for filter 1. So now we can actually filter the two oscillators completely separately, because you can see that they're set up to have this kind of routing here. Or we could do a routing like this, where we have both of the oscillators passing through filter 1. You can see this option here. So basically, these quick routing, you'll see that this will change depending on what we have selected. So this is a quick way of setting up these to work in certain ways, essentially. And we're going to come back to that when we look at the kind of global options. But let's go back to our filters. So let's say we wanted to have both oscillator 2 and oscillator 1 passing through just filter 1, so we can actually really hear what filter 1's doing. That's what we've got now. Okay, so we know to switch the filter on and off, we can click on the power button here. Now the button or the drop-down menu next to this allows you to choose the type of filter you want. Now the numbers to the right here, like 12 dB, 24 dB, they refer to essentially the efficiency that the filter is going to work at. So 12 dB is going to be essentially less efficient at removing frequencies. So it's going to sound brighter because it's leaving more frequencies in. 24, it's a little bit duller sounding because it's cutting away more frequencies. Now we have low pass, which allows frequencies below the cutoff point to pass through, and it attenuates frequencies above the cutoff point. We have a band pass, which allows a band of frequencies to pass through, attenuating either side. Come back to resonance. Once again, we have 12 and 6 dB versions of that. We have a notch filter, which kind of is notching out a band of frequencies. Gives you a kind of phasey effect. Again, 2 and 4 pole. Again, it refers to the slope of the filter. Then we have high pass 12 and 24 dB. It's the opposite of the low pass. It allows the high frequencies to pass through and attenuates the low frequencies. Again, 12 and 24. Then we have a formant filter. Kind of recreates the type of frequencies that are generated by the human mouth and the vocal cords. Gives you a kind of, almost like a speechy kind of effect. And those are the filter types, and it's the same for the second filter as well. Now the two main controls we have are frequency and resonance. Now frequency is usually called cutoff, and that refers to the point at which you're going to start cutting away frequencies, as we've kind of been seeing from these different examples. And let's actually take the envelope off for now. So we're not having the envelope actually affecting the filter and modulating it at the moment. Now the next control is resonance. That allows you to resonate the cutoff point, essentially. So you can hear those individual harmonics getting boosted by the resonance. And as all these harmonics are mathematically related, it can help you kind of pick out certain nice ranges within the sound to use. Now, the only difference is that when we're on the formant setting, this is going to actually allow you to choose different vowel sounds. It sounds a little bit like someone brushing their teeth. So that's the frequency and resonance controls. Now there's a little box beneath each filter here, and that actually has a different function between the two filters. For filter 1, it means we can actually send the output of filter 1 through filter 2. So at the moment we've got the output of filter 1 being filtered by filter 2, but we've also got the filter 1 sound passing through directly. So let's take that off. So now we just have the output of filter 1 being filtered by filter 2. So we have that formant filter being high pass filtered by filter 2. Now, let's just bring this back in. Now for filter 2, this follow option here means it's actually going to follow the cutoff of filter 1. So let's bring up the resonance so we can really hear this at work. So you can hear filter 2 being affected whenever we move the cutoff dial on filter 1. So that's the follow mode for filter 2. It means it's going to follow the movement of filter 1's frequency dial. So for each one of our filters, we also have the extra parameters that are available within the middle display here. So first of all, we have the envelope modulation. So let's bring up the envelope modulation. Let's change the envelope shape. So you can hear it's a really precise, snappy envelope. Now for these envelopes, we can actually build the envelope like so by clicking and dragging on these points here. Alternatively, we can change the attack time here, decay time, sustain level, and release time here by going directly onto the display and changing each category in turn. We can make this linear or exponential. Now let's just bring this down and bring up the sustain. Now, as well as having a sustain level, we have a sustain time, which can cause the sustain to actually decrease in level as we hold down a key. As you can hear there. Now the next options we have here are legato and free. Now in legato mode, it's not going to re-trigger the envelope every single time we press a key. So let's move the attack across so we can hear something. So you hear that when I play a second note with the first note depressed, it's carrying on the same point from the envelope. If I take off legato, every time I press a note with another note depressed, it's going to restart the envelope. Okay, now next up we have the free mode. Now this allows us to bypass the sustain phase and we go straight from decay to release. So you can hear there we're going straight from that decay phase, and when we reach the end of the decay phase we're going to hit the release phase. But remember, we're working with the filter here, so the envelope is affecting the filter parameters, specifically the frequency. It's not actually affecting the volume. We're going to have a look at the volume envelopes a little bit later. Now, the next option we have is the loop mode here. So let's put this onto ADR. Now in the ADR mode, what's going to happen is the attack and decay phase are going to work through as normal, but rather than hitting the sustain phase, it's going to basically loop that attack and decay phase. Bring the envelope amount up. As you can hear there, so we're looping that phase of the envelope as long as the key's held down. Now, as soon as the key is released, we're going to hit the release phase. Now, what I might actually just do is come to the amp envelope and just add in a bit of release for the amp envelope so we can hear that a little bit more. So you can hear that now releasing. Now let's try the next one, which is ADRR. Now this is going to be the same, but but it also is going to include the release phase in the loop. So just a different flavor, a little bit more control. Then we have the ADS-AR. Now this plays the envelope without looping, but it also plays the attack and release phases once more when the key is released. Let's just turn down that release a bit. Now this is designed to mimic instruments that have an audible damper. So that's what that mode is for. And that's the loop mode of the envelope here. Now in addition, we have some other options here. For example, we can choose how much the attack is going to be affected by velocity. Let's bring that up. We can choose how much the envelope is going to be affected by velocity. So we can affect the amount of modulation from the envelope using velocity, which is pretty cool. Take those two off. Then we also have some different saturation options here. Now what I'm just going to do is drag on an initialized patch for analog again, so we can just really hear this. I'll bring down the frequency and bring up the resonance. Okay, and let's try out the drive options. So that's no drive. We've got Sim 1, which is symmetrical distortion. Sim 2. Sim 3. So you can hear the difference, much thicker. And then we have the asymmetrical distortion algorithms. So they get a little bit fatter as we go down the list. So much thinner and a little bit kind of more lifeless with that drive setting off, I would say. Now also for both the frequency and the resonance, we can choose to modulate with an LFO. Also key track, so the higher we play in pitch, the more we're going to open up the frequency dial and the resonance. And obviously we can choose to have the envelope modulating those parameters as well. So let's just have a little listen to some LFO modulation. Let's also modulate the resonance. So you can see we can have that kind of trademark wah-wah kind of effect we get from an LFO effect in a filter. And as I said, we can have key tracking switched on. So as we play higher up the keyboard, the filter will open, which is quite useful if you're playing high notes and the filter is quite low, because it means the filter will open to compensate and allow high notes to come through. And that is the filter section. So remember, we have different filter types here. We can switch it off from this little button here. We have an amount, so we can send the output filter 1 to filter 2. Filter cutoff and resonance, I'm sure we're all familiar with those two controls. And for filter 2, we can choose to have the frequency dial follow the frequency dial of filter 1. Now, when we click on a filter, we can come through to this middle window here where we have some further parameters, including the filter envelope. We can set that up as linear or exponential. We can have a legato mode, so it won't re-trigger when you hold down a key and play another key. Free mode, so we can jump straight from attack decay to the release phase. We can also choose to have the attack affected by velocity, the envelope amount affected by velocity. We have a drive with symmetrical and asymmetrical distortion being added. We then have our parameters here for the envelope, which we can change by directly dragging as well. We can choose to have the sustain decrease slightly as we hold down a key. We can also loop in different ways that we looked at from this menu here. And finally, we can modulate the frequency and the resonance using LFO, key tracking, and also our envelopes. So that's the filter. In the next video, we're going to have a look at the amplifiers. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.